Yes, here we are once again live on the old Facebook, the High Noon Hemp Show, every Wednesday, noon Eastern Time on the Temptations Beach Facebook page. Of course, you can find the videos there as well, and the videos are also on demand on YouTube. Search Jedi Hemp on there and subscribe. I'm, of course, Joe Claire, live from Hemp Quarters. It's the man himself, Beach. Beach, how are things going?
Things are great. A little bit of snow this morning, interesting, as we sit high above the Temptations in Sharonville. Winter's still here in Cincinnati, Ohio. If you're not in the Cincinnati, Ohio area, then I'm sure winter is still there for you, depending on where you are. It's hard to say, I guess. Big stuff. Big stuff happening in the old Ohio hemp world. As some of you may know or might know, yesterday they actually dropped a bill in the state house that basically summarizes. It basically makes hemp legal. It's kind of funny because the first part of this bill says the purpose of the bill is to decriminalize hemp and hemp products. Neither one's illegal, and to establish a hemp cultivation licensing program that is not available. So it does set up the opportunity for farmers to grow hemp in Ohio. Yay! It's confusing because it says they're going to decriminalize hemp and hemp byproducts and hemp products. And so again, they are not criminalized now. Neither hemp nor hemp products are actually criminalized in the state of Ohio. The only thing you cannot do is grow industrial hemp in the state of Ohio. That is criminalized. But it does go on to clarify all things hemp and CBD and what's the, it's got like 3 or 4 pages basically set up as to what we're going to do with industrial hemp or hemp and hemp products. And then it goes on to list everything that's in the controlled substance list, which is really kind of weird. And so it's like 3 or 4 pages of clarifying the hemp and, setting up a licensing through the Department of Agriculture, as well as testing and everything basically for the farming aspect. It also clearly defines what hemp is and what hemp byproducts or hemp products are. Most of these are not illegal in the state of Ohio. There is just a question in the policy at the Board of Pharmacy. And so, all things great. I want hemp farming. This, can clarify maybe an argument for those that aren't willing to take the time to know the laws that are now. If it passes, they can just say, well, it clearly says all hemp is legal. We don't have to debate about HIA versus DEA and the Agricultural Act of this and the Agricultural Act of that. And to say they legalized hemp in Ohio. Well, it wasn't illegal to begin with. But here we go. So we can put it on paper, I suppose. We can make it official, put it on paper that hemp is legal. Even though I want to be perfectly clear, hemp is legal now. Hemp has always been legal in the state of Ohio. Hemp products have always been legal in the state of Ohio. Now we can establish a hemp cultivation licensing program and allow our farmers to provide that hemp. That's the only thing that's really missing now in the state of Ohio is farmers providing the hemp.
So what's the feeling about this legislation? Is something that's going to take forever to do, or is it something that can be done, quickly?
No, I think it's going to, I think it's going to happen pretty quickly. I think, honestly, I believe if I saw a date, it would take effect March 22nd. Obviously they have to vote on it. But if they're proposing that date, and, that could be so that we could actually possibly see hemp go in the ground, because if we pass in 322 and we get all the paperwork set up, then June is roughly when you're putting hemp seed in the ground in this area. I believe maybe late May, June-ish. Past the rain part, I mean, the only thing that really affects the plant negatively, so to speak, is too much rain. And so a real healthy spring, they have to get out of that real healthy springtime before they want to put it in the ground. It's more drought resistant, so it can take those hot temperatures once it gets going. And so that's why, again, they kind of wait for the wet season to end. A lot of crops still rely on that wet season a little bit, depending. But no, I think that in Ohio, I think we'll put it in the ground. It could be May because of the more northern latitude of Ohio, possibly. But June gets us through the cycle and into fall with the plant as it likes to grow. It is, when they're growing for the flowers, which is the new thing with the CBD, cannabis is a light driven flowering plant. So it goes on the light cycle as to when it's going to flower and how it flowers. This is the race. There is a cannabis cult or a cannabis genus, Cannabis ruderalis, I believe it's pronounced. I don't even know if it is the third. Okay, so you have Cannabis indica, you have Cannabis sativa L, hemp, and some medicine, and then you have Cannabis indica, which is medicine, and then you have Cannabis ruderalis, or something like that. A very short growing plant, but it actually flowers in a timeline, not by sunlight. And so, we're trying there. I know there's some breeding going on where they're trying to get those genes of that plant, that self-flowering, they call it, timeline, self-flowering timeline, into cannabis to shorten its majority. But now it has to go through it has to get the proper light. Obviously, when you're growing outdoors, you have to put it in the ground at the right time, and then it's not going to flower until it knows those days are going back down on the other side with the light or whatnot. And so, that's no different with the industrial hemp part of it. If you're growing for grain, then obviously you want that plant to flower as much as possible as well, to produce as much grain as possible. So once again, you're relying on those light cycles. There's no speeding up how fast a hemp plant will mature. Again, because it is a light, you can control that light, obviously, in small scale to do that. But when you're out growing thousands of acres of industrial hemp, you can't control that light. And so, all that being said, if we get this thing passed by March 22nd, which is a date I saw somewhere, then there is a slight chance that some farmers, if you have the land in Ohio, could put some hemp seed in the ground. I know that if it does pass, and that's possible, I will be running around seeing who has a half an acre here or a acre there. They'd be willing to loan me or lease me. And so, we'll see if we can make it possible. I would love for this to happen and then be a part of, a half an acre in Ohio. That would be really fun anyway. So we'll see. Again, the 2-page paper that I wrote, hemp history and its many uses, the history of hemp and its many uses. I printed out 140 so copies. Everybody in the State House got a copy or is going to get a copy. And so hopefully that will influence them to see the potential of this and get this thing passed more quickly. I'm not going to say that if they passed it pretty quickly that it was my paper.
But we all
that
know it
helped
was.
them do that. But I'm very proud. I'm very proud to have been asked to write the paper. I'm very proud and humbled to hear that it is getting great response. Putting it on Hemp was, a big deal to me to get it out there, and so. I don't like to brag about. I'm somewhat modest these days. I used to be cocky when I was young, but I feel weird bragging about, what I do. And that's, when this happens, I'll still say I've done nothing, honestly, because, there's been so many people that have played a part in making industrial hemp become legal that the little part that I played is, it is what it is. But
In reality, this show will be the biggest influence on what happens in the
that's right.
state house when
They're
it
all
comes to
viewing
hemp.
this. That's hopefully
Yes.
everyone up there is tuning in on Facebook, Temptation Speech Facebook page. Um, Everyone in the legislative body know that it's a no-brainer. Do it, man. Just do it. Just put your signature on it. Vote yay, not
That's right.
nay,
On a more
and let's get
serious note,
industrial hemp.
people like that, it's hard. It's easy for people like us not to realize or to forget that people like that really have no idea. They hear the word hemp, they know nothing about it. They know, canvas bags made 200 years ago or whatever were made from hemp, and that's about it. So, education. I mean, they're bombarded with all kinds of stuff. They got to decide on just about every aspect of this industry and that industry, and to have something that teaches them something in a digestible form. I'm sure will have quite a bit of influence because for a lot of them, it's probably the most they've seen on hemp in, well, maybe ever. I mean, it's not something
Yeah,
I guess a lot of them. I mean, I certainly didn't learn about it in school when I went to school quite a bit. So,
yeah, yeah. And again, out of all the cannabis related documentaries and TV shows that are out there, there isn't really one I think that's hit home with anyone
yeah.
on the mass media, on the Vice Channel or whatever about industrial hemp. I know. I do want to say though, and I shouldn't speak too soon, but I think it was. Can't believe I'm going to flake on his name. A musician. He was running around doing a show about 10 things you didn't know about certain stuff, and he did do one on hemp, and I never did get a chance to watch it.
Hmm.
And I need to go back and see if I can find that. But I know he did go out and talk to one of the owners of a company that I've been buying hemp stuff from for like 20 years. And I think, again, it was very much on the hemp educational aspect of things. And so, excuse me, there is stuff out there and there's plenty of it out there, but you're right. It's still, that's why I tried to keep it as short as possible. The history was very brief. I kind of broke it down by product, as to, why, who's doing it in the United States already. Again, every whether it was the food or the paper or plastic or any of those things, there's somebody in the United States that's already making a hemp product from hemp, whether it's grown here or they're importing it already. And so I think you're right that putting that in their hands and letting them hold a piece of hemp paper and read these facts and all this stuff about it. Hopefully, will put them on the right side of the education, because there still is a lack of education out there about industrial hemp. We're almost there. We're one of 9 states that doesn't farm it, so we get this bill passed. And we just move forward, just like everybody else is doing in the United States with hemp farming and hemp products,
Absolutely.
so to speak. All right. Well, so we'll keep everybody informed. I'm sure that if you're on Facebook, as soon as this thing hopefully passes, it'll be out on the world. But we're going to keep an eye on this. I'm actually going up next week for a little meet and greet in Columbus, and we'll see how many hemp people in the state show up for that, and then how many legislators. Hopefully, we'll see. At least the backers of this bill and hopefully some others that may still be confused, and then hopefully they'll vote on it, and we'll go from there. Knock on hemp wood if you have some. If not, just do a little hemp dance, and we'll hope for the best. I do want to clarify, last week I was talking about an email I got from a not customer who came in and said that our website implied that we sold smokable CBD products. Flower is the new stuff, and we don't. And I said that let me try that again. At the top of the page, smokables, the word smokables is listed with all these other products, vapes and all this. And I had mentioned that I had actually made that word up. Well, I went back and looked, and smokables is in fact a word. And if dude would have went and looked up the word, and I did use it correctly, because as a noun, it means something that you use to smoke something out of or from. Not the smokable, it's that you think, because guys like, oh, blah blah blah. And so I was wrong about spelling it right. No, I was wrong about spelling it wrong, but I was right in the use of the word. And we still don't sell CBD flower yet, but we've been talking about it, and we may get some pre-rolled stuff in soon. So anyway, all right, before we go to the product spotlight, I have made a new fun little trailer. I love doing this. This is the thing that iMovie has on Apple, and it's just it's something that I like messing around with. And so this one is called Hemptations on the Loose for your viewing pleasure.
I wish I had a drum roll or something, but I don't. So. Here you go. Look at that.
Tell me that didn't get you dancing. Little hemp, man. I couldn't stop. Yeah,
that was hemp products now. I don't know.
Right, man. Jeez, I want to run downstairs and go buy some stuff. I own it all. Oh, shoot. No, that one was fun. That one was fun to do. No doubt about it. We're gonna get that out on the page. I'll post that to all the pages, and we'll get it on YouTube as well. And so everybody can have a little fun with it. But that was the premiere of the Hemptations on the Loose trailer, coming to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube soon.
Awesome.
And moving on to the old product spotlight. Now that you're excited to get out there and buy some hemp stuff, let's talk about some hemp stuff that's in the store. 4 from the store, 1 from my door. The first product is a product that we have been carrying for a long time, and it took me a while to spotlight this because I was really waiting on kind of a fresh batch to come in. But that's the Way Out Wax candle products, and they use a hemp wick in their candles, and that's and they always have. And I think they had actually hemp oil in their candles for a little while, but they kind of got away with that, but still use a hemp wick. Many different scents, long burning. Again, a company, Way Out Wax, if you're familiar with them, been around for a long time. We've probably been putting Way Out Wax candles on our shelves for at least 20 years. Again, it was one of those hemp products that we picked up very early in the day, and kind of fluctuate as to our inventory back and forth. And, so that's the first candle product that's in the store, the Way Out Wax. And now we have the 100% beeswax candles. He doesn't really have a name for them, but these are made by an individual down in Florida. And again, he is using a lavender scented hemp wick in his beeswax candles.
Fancy.
And so it's a little fancy. They're like very raw looking, they kind of remind me of the, even though they're kind of honeycombed, which is cool the way he does it, but they kind of just remind me of the ones you made when you were a kid. You just kept dipping the wax in, and but they're very consistent. But the lavender hemp wick is that's fun. That's fun for a soothing candle to burn before you're going to go to bed or something, maybe. And then the next one is another company that we've been dealing with for a while. It's the old RYOT, or Roll Your Own Tobacco, as they call it. But these are their little pouches, little hard case. This one's called the Crypto Kit, and they unzip, and some of them have little tobacco pouches for your tobacco. Some have lighter holders and other accessories for said items. Again, these guys have been around for a long time, been carrying these pouches and some other pouches that they've made on the shelves for a while. They've been using hemp fabric and there's some other fabrics too. We have some other fabrics in, but the hemp fabric ones obviously are the ones I like the most. And so again, that's the old Roll Your Own Tobacco products with the hemp hard cases. And the last one is a brand new product that we just got. I know I just did the other gum that we have, but this is the new Batana Fresh gum, and it's good. I've been trying it. It kind of reminds me at first of, oh man, now I'm gonna flake on the name of that candy. It's like a soft candy, but it's hard on the outside. Man, anyway. But I think it's a good formula. The original gums, gum has come a long way. The CBD gums come a long way. Let me clarify that this is a CBD product. Each piece of gum has 10 milligrams of CBD in it. Have come a long way, because they've figured out how to make a piece of gum that has a CBD, and it's actually a good piece of gum, but it's a good way to get it in your system, because you chew that gum and then that gets in underneath your tongue and goes right into the blood. And so again, it's a very good transition system for someone who wants to get it right in the system. Obviously it doesn't look, some people I think feel weird if they're in public putting the tincture under their tongue and sitting there with that under their tongue. But a piece of gum, you chew a piece of gum for just a minute or so, and then you'd get all that CBD, all that goodness, and hopefully get the relief that you're looking for with any CBD product that you're using when you come into the store. And so there you have it, folks, from the store. Now one from my door, and I'm excited about this because I was talking about how I needed a new pair of headphones. And then I held out for the longest time because, once again, the motto is reuse, and the headphones I had worked still. But they finally broke down so much that I went ahead and found a pair. And these are the Marley brand. And this is the Marley brand speakers as well. And they've been using hemp fiber in their products for quite a while. So that blue around the speaker there, that's hemp. And then the black fiber on the top of the headphones is hemp. They also use eco-friendly materials, period. And so that wood is supposed to be an eco-friendly wood on the speaker, and all the, and so I know that the whole line of products, and they have big speakers and small speakers and headphones that they've produced over the years with the Marley brand, have always used a little bit of hemp. If there's fiber, they tried to use hemp, but if not, they were still using eco-friendly, earth-friendly products in the material, so to speak. And so the little Bluetooth speaker, I tell you, it impresses me. It's got a nice little thump to it. And my headphones are in work now. I know they're on the screen, but they're also on my head. On the screen, on my head. It's weird.
Nice.
So
Technology.
there you have it.
It's amazing.
Crazy, man. If I was like from 100 years from the past, I'd be freaking out right now. But there you have it. 4 from the store, 1 from my door in the product spotlights. Now on to what is Joe's favorite part of the show.
Just before we get to that, I want to point out there's an interesting comment in the chat area. I don't know if you got a chance to see this, Beach. A link and a screenshot of someone apparently that has a problem with the new legislation.
Is that right? I did see the. I don't know how to get that link open while I'm on live.
I have the photo here. Basically says someone says this. They posted this on Facebook apparently yesterday. Quote: The U.S. Hemp Roundtable, a special interest pay-to-play group, is trying to make CBD exclusive to hemp only in Ohio. WTF? Not okay, especially to the MJ Medical /Rec side. Why are they trying to restrict access to CBD and redefine? Very concerning. More concerns about this new Ohio hemp bill will be posted.
I didn't. Again, I read the first part of the bill. I don't know. You don't have to have a license to sell anything what they talk about in the bill, to my understanding. And so, you have to have a license to farm. You have to go through the department. I saw that. Maybe I have to go back over and read it again. But to me, it just really kind of clarifies what industrial hemp is with the 0.3% or less. And it does talk about the products and byproducts and all of those things in there, but it doesn't change anything as to where we are with industrial hemp. Like it clearly says that I do remember seeing that it doesn't prohibit anyone from selling industrial hemp products in the state of Ohio. It doesn't prohibit anyone. And so if you have a legitimate business and you want to sell hemp products, again, they're really just clarifying to me. They're really clarifying what's law now. And I think they're doing that in piggybacking kind of the federal law, the Agricultural Act that was just passed. Because here's the deal. That's what the Agricultural Improvement Act of 2018 clearly defined what was legal in industrial hemp, and it's from the root to the flower, so to speak. It clearly defined that. The 2014 Industrial Hemp or Agricultural Act, Federal Agricultural Act, didn't do that. It just said that they could farm industrial hemp at 0.3%, but it didn't really define what could be extracted from or what the uses of that hemp could be. Did it need to? No. Again, that didn't change anything when it came to what products were made out of the industrial hemp. It didn't need to be clearly defined. But they decided to clearly define it in the 2018 Agricultural Improvement Act. They decided to clearly define it in there to basically stop people from saying what was illegal because it wasn't defined clearly as what was illegal or legal. Now it's clearly defined federally that industrial hemp is 0.3% less THC and all its byproducts from the root to the flower are 100% legal under federal law. That's what I think this Ohio bill is basically doing the same thing. They are just reiterating or putting it on paper. They're basically just putting it on paper as to industrial hemp being legal, what parts of industrial hemp are legal, blah, blah, blah. And so I didn't see anything, and I will definitely. I mean, I just got the paperwork last night. To be honest with you, someone wanted to do an interview on Monday with me, and I hadn't even seen the bill, and
Yeah.
so I couldn't really react to the bill because I hadn't seen it yet. And so I have it, a copy, and again, I have read through most of it, and I know who's backing this and pushing this. But I don't know. I did not see anything that is nefarious in any way. Trust me, I will be the first one to alert anyone of any nefarious wording that may be in this hemp bill. Again, I was going through the list of the controlled substance stuff to see if they were trying to slip some other something in there, trying to make something that's legal now illegal, but not related to industrial hemp. To be honest with you, that was one of my first concerns, because I don't really know why the majority of this bill, once again, just basically lists all the drugs that are on the controlled substance list. In a way where it's saying all these things will continue to be on the controls, and even marijuana. And they started with marijuana, and I love the way they put hypothesis around it. It was the fact that they talked about marijuana, and of course it would stay illegal, and all marijuana byproducts will continue to be illegal. And then it went into this whole list of the controlled substance list. Again, all opiates, every opiate that's out there was, and so, I don't know what that's all about. And again, my main concern there was, when I saw that, is they're trying to slip in something. They're trying to make something illegal that's not illegal, and on this list of all these other drugs that have nothing to do, zero to do with industrial hemp. I understand why they bring up marijuana, because, and again, they don't have to. They don't have to, because there's nothing in the federal wording that mentions anything about marijuana. It just defines industrial hemp, says what industrial hemp is, does, blah, 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 and makes that legal. And so to even bring up marijuana in this bill is, again, it's overkill. I get it, though. They don't want anyone to be confused. So they're clearly defining what marijuana is and what's not legal, but they're clearly defining what industrial hemp is, and all parts of it are legal. And again, I didn't see anything that restricted anyone. From selling or purchasing any industrial hemp byproduct. So again, I'll take another read at it. Of course, I just kind of skim through it mostly so I could discuss it today and see if there was anything that I didn't care for.
Obviously, this is something we'll continue to cover in the future on this show, on Facebook, all that good stuff. And now we've cleared that away, we can come to the greatest single segment in Facebook history, aka the beachwear segment, as we find out what Beach decided to wear today. What are you wearing, Beach?
Well, sticking with the theme, if you woke up this morning, you said, hey, I know there's a theme and I got to find out what it is. And you said, what are you wearing, Beach? Well, let me tell you, I'm wearing the best that I could when it comes to indigo. And so we are 6 days into the theme, 6 episodes, I should say, into the theme, with indigo on our mind. I realize, folks, if this is not the indigo that you think it is, I'm just trying to get as close as I can to the color indigo with the outfit that I'm wearing, and this is what I have. And so, indigo is a confusing color because it's somewhere between blue and purple on the color scheme. And so I got the Planet Everywhere hat printed here in good old Cincinnati, Sharonville, Ohio. The indigo long sleeve shirt I've had so long that I'm not sure where I got this from or who made these originally. It kind of has a feel of Ono, but I don't know. I don't think it is. But So a little different. I'm wearing a belt. I lost a little weight recently, so I've been having to bust out the old belt. So I got the Hempies belt on there. Again, this is definitely a product available in the store. We have sold a lot of Hempies belts over the years, no doubt about that. The old Kentucky Hemp Outfitters jeans. These are the carpenter's pants. As you can see, they got the little hook for my hammer. If I had a hammer on me, I'd have it hanging on my little hook on my pants. The I Love Bad briefs. This is a company I just discovered recently. Make a natural color and a black hemp, using a little bit of hemp in their briefs. With the Hempest socks. Hempest is something else. Again, I think I did the Hempest socks on the shelf last week in the products. And then the Wicked boots. It's a pretty crappy day out with the rain and the snow and whatnot. So the Wicked boots, and you can tell by this picture that this is definitely a pair of shoes that I wear quite a bit, especially in the winter, are my hemp boots because they're dirty and used. But I do love them, and they have held up well throughout the years. So if you woke up this morning and you said, "What are you wearing, Beach? Is it indigo?" You are correct.
Indeed, it is.
There it is.
And yes, in this
Indeed
area,
it
any
is.
kind of boots are going to get a workout.
Yeah,
if
for
you've
sure.
you never had the pleasure of being in the Cincinnati area. Well, the weather sucks. It just
Yeah.
sucks.
Well, it doesn't suck as much as it is very transitional.
Yes.
And so, you can't get used to anything. That's for sure. Because it goes up and it goes down and it goes sideways, and in any given 24-hour period. So it's true. We get all the elements, and that's what I've always liked about Cincinnati, to be honest with you. I don't know if I want to live somewhere where it's always the same, whether it's always raining or it's always sunny or it's always this or it's always that. I kind of like the seasonal changes. Keeps us on our toes.
I'll try Always Sunny. I'll give that a shot. See how I like it.
You know what I mean? That's the retirement world, from my understanding. You head out to Arizona, always sunny in Arizona. They get like less than an inch of rain a year or something like that. And so if that's what you're looking for, it's available. I said that if I was going to I was just having a joke discussion, not that it's a joke to be homeless, but if I was going to be homeless, I would go to somewhere like Arizona, where it was always sunny and nice. And, the retired people there would hopefully help me out,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Get some golf pants, pull them way up, fit right in.
That dry climate, hopefully I won't need that dry climate. But,
Yeah.
well, yeah, some hemp leisure suits. Let's bring it on. I want to wear a hemp leisure suit tomorrow.
Just stroll in. They'll think you live there.
We know. We are, again, I'm bringing up, segueing right into the events. We are not hosting. We have donated, again this year to the tie-dye ball, which is happening this Friday in Cincinnati. The profits to this go towards an organization called Play It Forward, which actually provides means to local musicians. If you are a musician or a musician, you know that they don't have insurance most of the time. They are probably living more paycheck to paycheck because they have a tough time holding down a job because they just want to be a musician. I get it. And I've had plenty of musicians come through my door working for me, and they were great employees. But that's a different mentality. The artist mentality is a different mentality, and capitalism and consumerism and things sometimes are what they're against. But that being said, this is a great event for Play It Forward. It is Friday night down in Mount Lookout. And this is the last year that they are going to do the tie-dye ball. So if you haven't been and you want to go, a couple of great bands, Jerry's Little Band and the Spook Floaters. These guys were around before it was cool to be a jam band and B, follow the Grateful Dead. They were when they were still. I think Jerry's Little Band has been around long enough that the original Grateful Dead was still alive when they started. So,
Wow.
Yes, they. And they're kind of Jerry's Little Band is kind of going to go start doing their own little thing after almost 30 years, I believe, of being together. So good for them. Good for them. Great event. We love participating. We love giving. We love helping when we can. I can add philanthropist to my, long list of things that I don't tell anybody that I am. Because I don't do it so I can have another title, that's for sure. I can run out of room on the business card. No. I always forget to take those out too. So anyway, couple quick things in the news. Federal judge denied a bid in Idaho to release the hemp shipment. That was one of the two hemp shipments that have been stopped in transport across the United States. The first one is having some controversy because it's tested a little bit above the 0.3%. And so we're still kind of waiting to see what happens. But the Idaho one is kind of new. But apparently they're not going to release that one either. And so we're going to kind of follow what goes on with that. The really kind of interesting news in the hemp world, in my opinion, is the fact that Tilray, and I don't know much about this Tilray company, has bought Manitoba Harvest, which is, in my opinion, I would only guess, probably the largest producer of hemp foods marketed in the United States and in Canada. They're in Canada, obviously, and they've been around for a long time. And they were there from the original time that industrial hemp seeds went in the ground in Canada. And so, my understanding is this Tilray is a CBD company. They are going to push to start putting the CBD in the Manitoba hemp food products as a separate line, I believe. So there's still obviously going to be the non-CBD Manitoba Harvest hemp seed food line, and then this other food line that's going to have CBD in it. And they've also, this is kind of interesting, are going to collaborate with Juicy Couture and Nine West. Yeah, that's not you heard that right, folks out there. Tilray, who is purchasing Manitoba Harvest, is also going to collaborate with Juicy Couture and Nine West to come up with their branded CBD lines or something. And so, wow. This just backs up the fact that CBD is everywhere, and it is going to continue to be everywhere. And this is a big push to get CBD into large scale grocery stores and not have any fear about it. And so we'll see what happens with all that. Couple of events that are coming up pretty quickly is the Kansas Hemp Biz Symposium, February 23rd. That's this weekend, I believe. I think you go to Hemp Biz, you can find information on that online. February 25th is the Central United States Hemp Growers Conference and Expo in Rochester, Minnesota. So if you're in that area and you're interested in what's going on in the hemp world, that's February 25th. February 28th, so a little over a week from now, is the Kentucky HIA Annual Conference in Bowling Green. I've been saying if you're in Kentucky or around Kentucky, I don't care if you're in a close state and you want to get into growing industrial hemp or figuring out what's going on in the industrial hemp game, this is a conference that you want to get to because they were leading and have been on the path with the industrial hemp in Kentucky since it started, and have a wealth of knowledge and connections. So that's a good local event. And that's really it for the upcoming close events. Everything else is listed. I have events all the way through November, I believe, listed on the second page of the Hemptations Beach page. And so if you go to the second page of the Hemptations Beach, I'm sorry. Hemptations.com. If you go to hemptations.com, the second page has all the events that we're not affiliated with on the second page. The first page all those dates and events are events that I am or we are affiliated with, either store events or possibly I'm speaking or going to be participating in. And so you can go there and find all the fun stuff that's happening across the country on hemptations.com and get more information. You sign up for our newsletter at hemptations.com. I've sent 2 out. I think that's awesome. Only because it's been like years since I've had the availability to do it, and I'm finally doing it. And so sign up for the newsletter. You're guaranteed to get one at least once a month. I try not to bug anybody, just to remind everybody that we're out there, I suppose.
There you go.
I don't think I had any questions. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I do have a question. And Chris asks, do quality testing standards differ from company to company? Absolutely, they do. If you're specifically talking about CBD, CBD is a supplement, and so it does not have any regulations actually over it, so to speak. And so, and I was just discussing this. This is why you want to look at someone. If you're buying your CBD online or wherever, you want to make sure that this company is some type of testing, proving that they've tested, proving levels. The legitimate companies that we're seeing are using the same tactics that the THC people are using, and they're testing for chemicals and herbicides, pesticides, and all that stuff as well. And so I try as much as I can to get some type of verification that the products or the sources are clean sources or using, the better ways to do things. But, there is no law out there that says you have to do it this way when it comes to the supplements. And so, that's something that I've always warned people about when it comes to their supplements online. I don't care what, I don't even buy vitamin C online. Find out where that vitamin C came from. Find out make sure that vitamin C doesn't have a bunch of chemicals in it and other things as a supplement. That's what you should do for every product. But there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that it was harvested cleanly, that it was packaged cleanly, that it was ever tested for anything, including CBD content for that matter. We're starting to see after a couple of years of people actually having their products tested, that some people were in fact pulling some shenanigans. And so I try to pay attention to that. We definitely try to pay attention to that as to the products that we sell, to make sure that those people either cleaned up their act, or we just don't sell their products if they got caught doing something bad or weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. With that, the follow-up to that question is there any sort of established industry expectation, or is this going to be coming as a result of increased regulation? It's a little of both. Once again, I have industry expectations. A lot of companies have industry expectations. Again, that expectation, you can put that expectation on a box, and that doesn't mean that anything in that box is actually good. Again, and so yes, we hope that people that have these expectations are following through with them, and we are in fact possibly going to see more regulation. But really, with the supplements, once again, we're not going to see more regulation until it's actually FDA approved for anything over the counter. Okay. Or, we know it's FDA approved for an epilepsy drug, but until it's FDA approved for anything over the counter, which means you still just go and pick it off the shelf. But it says on there, this helps with this. That's what FDA approved means. Okay. Food, drug, it's approved for healthy for us to induce and so on the food side, and on the drug side, it's because you have to prove that your drug does something before you can call it a drug. That's why we don't give medical advice. We sell supplements. Now, if someday the FDA, once again, they approve CBD for this, that, and all the other, or it has been proven that CBD is good for this, that, and the other, then they can put that on the package, and they put it on the aisle with whatever might be appropriate, pain relief or anxiety or this, stress, whatever. Those products would absolutely be regulated.
Yeah.
And so you can feel safe that, all those over-the-counter drugs that have been FDA approved for this, that, and all the other, they have standards as to everything that they do, and they have to uphold those. And so, again, someone tried to tell me that the FDA oversees supplements, and I'm like, no, they do not. The only time that the FDA gets involved in any dietary supplement is if you are making claims or you are actually adding an ingredient that they have found unsafe. Okay? The FDA does not regulate dietary supplements.
Yeah.
They can oversee them in certain circumstances. Once again, if you're making medical claims, then the FDA can step in, and they have done that in the CBD world. And a couple companies stopped making medical claims because the FDA warned them that they were doing something illegal. But they didn't pull the products off the shelf. They didn't change the formula. They didn't do anything different to what was inside the bottle. They just changed the box. And so, that's the difference between supplements and medicine, and FDA regulation. We sell 100% industrial hemp-derived CBD supplements. All that stuff online is a CBD supplement. And so when you go to 100 of those websites to buy your CBD products, they're selling them as supplements as well. And if they're making medical claims on their website, then they're probably going to get in trouble for that eventually. And there's a difference because I can give you a testimonial. I can tell you that there was a customer that was just in the store the other day that bought this for her headaches. I was standing there and talked to them. And so, that's a real person saying why they use the supplement. And you can do with that information all that you want to. But I'm not telling you that CBD is good for headaches. That person might. And in that person's words, it was good for their headaches. But I'm not going to tell you because I'm not a doctor, and and none of our employees can tell you that. And so, it's still. I'll say it once. I'll say it again. It is still in its infancy as an industry, and I mean the amount of money this industry is producing more and more every day is quite insane. And so, there is a lot to pay attention to. We see just as much as we see big names saying try CBD, we see people saying, be careful because, it's not regulated. Mm-hmm. And so, use your own expectations, do the research, and find the right product for you. But no, that it's relieving doing things for thousands and thousands of people. Just in Cincinnati alone as our customers, I can tell you that. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Man, that might be one of the longest shows we've ever done. But, we got to talk about the stuff in Ohio. I know I love it. All right, folks, as we like to say here at the High Noon Hemp Show, reduce, reuse, recycle, make everything else out of hemp. Having temptations.
Absolutely. See y'all next week.